Hey, what's up, guys? I actually filmed the other half of this video, or the other 90%. I wanted to talk to you real quick about the jacket that you see in the opening. Um, that jacket is an original crew jacket from the production of Terminator 2. It was worn by some crewman, or woman, back in 91 or 90 when the film was being made, and they gave out hundreds, if not maybe 1,000 or so of them. And I got it for a Christmas present back in the year 2000. And it was way too big for me back then, and it's still kind of big on me now, even though I got a gut that I'm trying to get rid of. My aunt got it for me as a Christmas gift, and she paid about $500 for it, which is a really good deal if you think about it. You're probably wondering how I still have this jacket, given the events of a few years ago. Believe it or not, fate, when it comes to this jacket, man. I remember a couple years ago when I got in my car accident in the Jeep, when the guy cut me off. See a previous video for that. I was actually wearing it. I was doing the Christmas movie marathon, and my other jacket was in the wash, and it was cold out, and I was like, fuck it, I'll grab it. And I was wearing that jacket when I got in the car accident, or the Jeep accident. Cut to the house fire later like 6 months later. That jacket was actually in the back of my Ford Escape because I had worn it the previous day to the post office that I worked at the time to just wear. You know, it was really it was like a freak thing where I just grabbed it, and it was in the back of the Ford Escape. And the Ford Escape, my iPod, a couple of CDs rattling around in the Escape, and that jacket are the only things that I have from my former life. And it's kind of fitting. You know, I lost a lot of Terminator stuff, but that jacket is one of the biggest things that I had. It's probably, in my book, the jacket, the Arnold Schwarzenegger autograph, and maybe a couple of the old school toys or magazines from the 90s when T2 first came out. But it's the autograph and that jacket that were really big to me, and I still have that jacket. And really quickly here, I'm going to end this right now, and the video will pick up where I originally wanted it to. I wore that jacket very rarely, which is kind of odd that I had it. I honestly can't remember why exactly. I know why I wore it for the Jeep accident. That was because it was really cold out and I didn't have another jacket. I don't honestly remember why I had it during the house fire. But before those two events, I remember clear as day. I had it hanging on my wall, and it was there for a while. It was in a closet, then on display, then back in a closet. I wore it when I went and saw Terminator 3 opening night. I wore it when I went and saw T3 three times in a row the next day after midnight, because, again, I was younger, and it was like, oh my god, new Terminator movie after so many years, you know, after 12 years. And then I wore it when I went and saw Terminator Salvation once, because that's only the amount of times I saw it. And then I wore it when I went and saw Terminator 1 in theaters as part of the sci-fi group that I'm part of. And I don't really do that often, which I really should get back into. And then I wore it when I went and saw T2 most recently, 2 years ago, in theaters before the Google Glass, discussion. So I've basically worn this jacket wholeheartedly when I've seen Terminator of any kind on the big screen. And I will, of course, continue that tradition, and I will wear it today and tomorrow. So I'm probably going to see this movie twice, at least, just to say I did it. But anyway, that's a little bit of history on the jacket. I never featured it in a Terminator review of mine. I just never thought of doing that. You know, I've had hats in the past, and I still have one, the Skynet hat that you saw in the opening. But anyway, I will continue that tradition, and I count myself fortunate that I still have that hat, and I still have that jacket, and you know, I'll wear it today, a few hours from now, but there's more meaning behind that jacket now than just the Terminator. So anyway, here's the rest of the video. Sorry, later. What's up, guys? BSG-T2 Trek Fan 88 here for a quick video update today. It's the 30th. It's June 30th, 2015, and in a few hours I will be seeing Terminator Genisys on the big screen. The fifth, can't believe I'm saying that, Terminator movie in the franchise. This has been a very, very long road. I've known about this movie for a while. You know, and any movie buff who's a certain fan or a fan of certain films, like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan or a Pirates of the Caribbean or a Marvel movie fan, you know, you hear these rumblings and you hear these rumors, hey, there's going to be another movie. And you wonder, oh, whatever. But you can watch back a couple of videos of mine a year ago, half a year ago, you know, when the first trailer was released, when the first announcement was made. And I haven't made too much of a fuss about this until the first trailer came out, because I'm one of those guys where, screw the rumors, okay? Give me a trailer. Give me some, not behind the scenes, not actual scenes. I can't stand it when people do that. But you know, a trailer. So the day is upon us. What are my thoughts going into this movie? Well, as you all know, I think Terminator 2 is a masterpiece. It's a sequel that defined what a sequel could be. Better than the first film. You don't need to see the first film to get what's going on. It expands on, it doesn't just make things bigger, it expands on the story of the first film. And then some. And the first film is a cult classic. It will go down in history as one of the greatest science fiction films of all time. It's a perfect example of guerrilla filmmaking. It's a perfect example of what someone can do on a minimum budget and still have fun and kick ass. But that's not what this video is about. I have seen all technically 3, but there's really only 2, which is kind of weird, especially considering the marketing campaign of Terminator 2 and 3 and even 4, Salvation. What are my thoughts going into this movie? Quite honestly, after a okay, but I'll throw it in the okay pile, 7, 6.5, 6.5 out of 10. Terminator 3 back, oh Jesus, 10, 12 years ago, and 2003, so yeah, 12 years ago. And now, you know, and then we had Salvation, which, honestly, I'm just looking to walk out of the theater going, okay, that was good. You know, that was worth my money. I would maybe not see it again. Of course, I will see it again, but I'm just looking for okay here. And I know that sounds really bad, but the bar was set so low, in my opinion, with Salvation. And I've met a few people that are like, oh, it's not that bad, blah, blah, blah. As a Terminator fan, as a science fiction fan, as a movie buff, there are a couple of things that I will say, okay, that was cool to see. I fucking hate Salvation, and I think Terminator 3 is okay. And of course, Terminator 1 and 2 are amazing. The bar is set really low for me, okay? Arnold is back in a leading-ish role, so that's okay. We get Arnold, you know, and a lot of people complained, you know, oh, well, why is he older if he's a Terminator? If you fucking pay attention, it's living human tissue. Over time, it's going to age, it's going to break down, it's going to get gray hair, it's going to get saggy. Yes, that's kind of an excuse for his age, but it does make sense. And if you read the print work from James Cameron on the second film, he actually states that in his notes. You know, in fact, in Terminator 3, there was going to be a deleted scene where the Terminator T-800 or T-50 eats a candy bar to kind of help maintain his chemical balance in his body. You know, give his skin calories, basically. That would have been kind of cool, but would have went way over the heads of 90% of the audience out there that don't really understand how the Terminator films work. But I just want to make a quick video. You know, I have avoided everything I can on this film except the trailers. There are like 3 videos right now where, hey, watch this scene, watch this scene, watch this scene. How about you fucking wait till the movie comes out and stop giving shit away? So I want to break this down. Here are 3 things I'm looking forward to, and 3 things I'm hoping aren't pieces of shit. Number 1, I kind of already talked about this, Arnold's back. And Arnold is the Terminator. You know, I really hate sounding like your stereotypical person, but if there's one role that he did right, and rightfully so, it's the Terminator. The way he talks, the way his mannerisms are, he's got it down pat. Even when he does, like, videos he makes on his own, or if he's meeting a fan and the fan goes, hey, can you play the Terminator real quick? And of course, Arnold, great guy. He never says no. I've never heard of a report of him being a jackass or an asshole or not wanting to take an autograph unless he has to go somewhere, like, you know, like a movie premiere or something. Obviously, if you're on the red carpet, you got to go somewhere. But he always has that down pat, and not a lot of actors can do that. And you're probably saying, "Oh, the Terminator is not that easy of a role." No, or not that hard of a role. It's not easy, but it's not hard. It's not hard, but it's not easy. You know, it's not. Whatever. You get what I'm saying here, Arnold. I'm looking forward to seeing him in this movie. Number two, as much of a diss that it could be to the original film series, the first two, I actually really, really am excited for the idea of going back in time during the events of the first movie, and maybe the second, I don't know, but definitely the first, and interrupting things, like the older Arnold T-800 fighting a brand new first, which, by the way, in the Terminator franchise, that is the first T-800 model. 101 series with the skin, but that's the first T-800 endoskeleton, or Terminator, or Hunter Killer, whatever you want to call them. So it'd be kind of cool to see the two of them go at it. But I am interested in seeing how they do this new take on the Terminator franchise's timeline. Okay, and number three, and I could expand on number two, but this is a quick video. Number three, I'm actually really excited to see another T-1000 on the big screen. You know, we last saw him in T2, technically T2 3D The Ride, and you know the T-1000 is on a lot of people's. In fact, most major reviewers, you know, American Film Institute, whatever, you know, as being one of the most scary or effective or whatever villains. I mean, think about it. He can blend in with his surroundings. He can blend into the floor or a wall. He can turn into anybody he wants, only an object of equal size, not a pack of cigarettes. But, you know, it's going to be really fun to see him portrayed, or a T-1000 portrayed on the big screen again. So I am kind of excited about that. On the list of three things that I'm hoping they've fixed, or I'm not going to be pissed off about. Number one, and this is a big killer for me, like this was literally the first nail in the coffin for me when it came to saying out loud, this movie I have no hope for. And that's the fact that it's PG-13. And Arnold has no say in it. It's really down to the people who rate the movies, and it's the studio who says, no, we want PG-13, we want more fucking asses in seats. And that really pisses me off. The first three Terminator films are rated R. They have swears, they have violence, they have blood, they have a little bit of gore. Oh, Jesus. Especially Terminator 2 and 3. I mean, although the T-1000 stabs through a guy's eye, the TX stabs through a fucking seat and goes through the spine and steers the car. I mean, it's awesome. This is PG-13. And I know that it's 2015's PG-13, which might as well be R half the time. I'm a little concerned, because part of the Terminator mythology or history is being adult-centered films. These films weren't made for kids.
Terminator!
I'm back. Got to find John Connor.
Hey, back off!
Terminator's heavy metal cycle zeroes in and fires. But T-1000 stands to get even.
This is for getting on my bad side.
Whoa. They weren't made for kids. They were marketed for kids, but they were made for adult audiences. Nowadays, especially in the 2000s, late 2000s, 2010s, it's all about making money and getting more asses in seats, and that's very, very unfortunate. Number two, from the trailers that I've seen, all three of them, I understand they're going to be using a lot of CG, but there has been some practical effects. The biggest thing for me, practical effects-wise, has always been the makeup involved in Terminator 1, 2, and 3. 4 didn't have much of it. It was a lot of green screen. But, you know, Arnold and other Terminator characters, the Stan Winston Studios, I mean, you should buy the book, and you should just look at stuff on YouTube. His fucking studio is amazing. Him being, you know, he passed away a few years ago, so rest his soul. But from what I've seen in the trailers, like when Arnold has his face ripped off or whatever, it doesn't look real. It doesn't. It literally just looks like someone took an Arnold sculpt and just cut out with an X-Acto knife part of the skin and then made it endoskeleton, like one of those cheap fucking, like on the not the Ultimate, the Extreme Edition DVD. You could make yourself into a Terminator, like a really, really cheap Photoshop knockoff. It looks like someone just stuck the Terminator endoskull on his face. No, there's a little tiny blood like circle around the. That's it. No dripping, no pieces of skin, no chunks. And again, that's the trailer, so I'm not gonna say that that's what it is. But every trailer, every TV spot that I've seen, it looks the same, and it's really pissing me off they can't fucking take. I can't think of the names right now. They should. I think they got an Oscar or a nomination for makeup effects. They bring them back. How fucking are you really that cheap? Are you trying to save that much money? Anyway, number 3. I love Game of Thrones. I'm gonna admit I wasn't a fan during the first 2 seasons. I watched a little bit of season 3, and then by the time season 4 rolled around, I was like, all right, I want to watch the whole show. Emilia Clarke, Mother of Dragons, is in this, which is going to get a lot of the Game of Thrones audience, which may or may not have led to her casting, but whatever. She's a strong, independent woman. Do I think she could play a younger Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor? Sure. If the writing is good enough for her, okay? I just really hope they don't fuck around, and this kind of leads into my other issue, or not my other issue, but what I like about this movie potentially could also be my number 3, which is its downturn, which is fucking with the timeline so much, saying an FU to the original timeline and saying we're going to do whatever we want, abandoning simple movie Terminator logic, turning Sarah Connor into a robot, meaning hopefully they don't put her in situations where like she's going to survive like a building collapse or a gunfight. It's like, really? I know Sarah Connor's tough, but she's still a human being. Also, the casting in this movie, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm like, really? This is the best supporting cast you could have? This is a Terminator franchise. Before Salvation and 3, Terminator 1 and 2 were and still are held up there. You know, a lot of friends of mine bust my balls and talk, oh, it's not that great. Everybody, no matter whether you're a fan or not, or even if you haven't seen the movie, you've heard of it, you know the mannerisms, you know the quotes, and if you've heard of it, you know how much of a lasting impact the first 2 films have had in cinema. So the fact that this is a Terminator film, and this is why I get excited for it, it's the same thing back when T3 and Salvation came out. You know what? I'm 27, I wasn't old enough to appreciate the second film. I wasn't alive when the first film came out, so to sit down and say, hey, I'm going to go see a brand new canon, right? Because technically it's a film, it's canon. The books, the comics, the side stories, those aren't canon. The video games, those aren't canon. The films are canon in the Terminator franchise. You could kind of count the TV show, but it just canceled after season 2, so no. I like the show, by the way. Most of it. But this is a Terminator franchise. This is a Terminator film. This has Arnold in it. And you're going to make it PG-13, and you're going to restrict it under those guidelines, and you're gonna I don't know, I can't judge it too much without seeing it. You're gonna see a video of mine probably tomorrow night when I get home, if not first thing on Wednesday. It's just, you really would think, after all the money they throw at movies like 50 Shades of Grey or the Twilight series, and I'll even throw like Harry Potter, you know, these films that are huge, and I shouldn't include Harry Potter, I take back what I just said. But 50 Shades of Grey, Twilight, like all the budget, like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a Twilight fan. Have I seen all of them? Yes. In the theater? No. At home while drinking? Yes. The final climactic battle at the end of Twilight? Pretty badass. CG wasn't bad. Practical effects were pretty good. I enjoyed myself for like the 20 minutes that happened. I was like, oh, this is pretty fucking cool. But like from what I've seen so far, you're going to really put your Hollywood stamp of approval on that and say, go ahead, release the film? I don't know. This movie could go either way. Reviews from fans have been very positive. Like 4.2 out of 5, a couple 3.9s, which is better than Salvation. But professional reviews or actual critics, which a lot of them take themselves way too fucking seriously. And every movie critic nowadays that I've read seems to think they're Siskel and Ebert, which is ridiculous. 1.5 out of 5 stars. Like, this movie is so polarizing. So all I'm gonna say is, I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna see it in RPX 3D. I don't want to fucking see it in 3D, but I'm going to, because it's the only 10 o'clock showing in the area. Because God forbid you do midnight showings now after one fucking theater shooting a couple years ago. You know, God rest their souls, but whatever. What's to stop someone from doing it at 10 p.m.? Anyway, we'll see what happens. You know, me being a Terminator fan, am I excited? Yes. Am I going to go see this movie regardless of what the reviews say? Of course I am. Hello, you've seen my Terminator previous and current collection. You know how much of a fan I am. And the reason why I'm not terribly super duper excited is because of, you know, watching this movie get developed, watching the horrible fucking photoshopped magazine covers that look like they were done by a 5-year-old with Microsoft Paint. You know, the trailers that have come out. The only thing that's really kind of saving me right now is that again, Arnold's in it, and it's a different style. It's going back again kind of to a Terminator is protecting someone. Not this Salvation bullshit where it's John Connor leading the Resistance, only not really leading the Resistance, and it's the future war, but it's not really the future. Fuck that. From what I can tell, we're going to get a good solid chunk of this movie back that are put in the future, which the opening battles of both first and second, and even the third Terminator film, are the future war, which is what we want to see. That's what Salvation was supposed to be, and it's not. But the big thing for me is that this movie is going to be 2 hours and some odd minutes long. Salvation was a little under 2, Terminator 3 was an hour and a half. 2 hours and 6 minutes is a good chunk of change, so figure 2 hours before credits. In my book, that's a long enough time to have some great action set pieces, to have some story, to have some plot development. It's not going to be a quick summer hour and a half action movie. And believe it or not, a half hour, 20 minutes does make a difference when it comes to the pacing of the film. Anyway, I am BSGT2 TrekFan88 here. I will see you back tomorrow or the day after, maybe tomorrow, with a review of this film. Anyway, good luck to fellow fans of mine. Go see it if you can, and I'll be back.
Terminator!
I'm back. Got to find John Connor.
But evil T-1000 gets to him first.
Hey, back off!
Terminator's heavy metal cycle zeroes in and fires. But T-1000 stands to get even.
This is for getting on my bad side. You're next, John Connor.
I'm back.
Terminator deploys his secret weapon.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Terminated!
This time.
Terminator is back.